we came into product design is definitely to make money. Like, in short, right? It's definitely to make money. I remember before I became a product designer back in 2018, I was only earning 15,000 per month. It was barely enough to do anything, right? And I remember clearly my first product design job, even while I was still learning product design, while I was in my boot camp, I secured a job that was paying me about 80K by then, right? It was a big jump from 15K to 80K. So I think I'm sure like a lot of us, we are here to get the right tips and know exactly some of the things that we definitely have to do in order to position ourselves right. So I created a slide, I prepared a slide for you guys. And maybe after the call as well, I would share some links, right, to like CV templates, to some of the key things that you just need to know. I'll share the slide as well with the tech sales manager, just so that they can make sure all those things are available to you guys, because you guys definitely need it. There are a lot of jobs out there, trust me, that a lot of people are underqualified for. Because obviously you see jobs on LinkedIn, 200 applicants. But of those 200 applicants, probably only 5 people meet the requirements. But how do they meet the requirements, right? How do they make sure that they even get to the interview stage? Most times you just hear unfortunately. Why are you getting that unfortunately? We'll talk about some of those reasons why those things are happening. Even with me myself, I've gotten so many unfortunatelies in my life, right? And recently I'm interviewing a lot as well. So, we'll look at things from a bunch of different perspectives that way. So let me share my screen and then we'll just go into more details of this. So let me go. Okay. All right. So if you guys can see my screen, please, you can signify that you can see my screen and then we can, get started officially. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can see my screen clearly anyway. So today we'll be talking about positioning yourself to get jobs as a junior designer. Now, there are some things that are prepared in the slide, but there are some things that I would mention, and I'd like you guys to take notes of some of those things. I'll mention them at the end, right? These are some things that have really helped me over the years, all different interviews that I've been able to attend, or even me interviewing, to get people on board for companies or even for my own team as well. There are some of the things that we always look out for. And it's very, very important for you guys to know some of these things. At least it kind of gives you a little bit of like, a tip to say, oh, this is what I need to know before, as I'm applying for these jobs. So let's move in. And first thing is obviously going to be creating a visually appealing, right, and easy to navigate portfolio website. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a website because you guys are junior designers, right? But having a website shows some form of dedication, right? It shows that, okay, this person is willing to go the extra mile. And trust me, there's Framer. Framer, you can go on YouTube, check out, Framer. There are a lot of templates you can just modify, put your picture in there, write about your projects that you've done and a lot of those things. And Framer, you don't necessarily have to pay for a domain. You can have your name.framer.website or something like that, right? So there are a lot of free resources out there. You just need to go out and look at them. But one of the important things about this is not really the website part of it, right? The most important part is the visually appealing and easy to navigate portfolio. The website is a caveat to that, right? But your portfolio could be on Behance, your portfolio could be on Dribble. But there are certain things that we need to be able to navigate things visually. As a product designer, you should understand about visual accuracy, aligning things together, grids, color balance, contrast, proximity, and all these different, principles of UI design, right? A lot of those things also apply to when you are designing a portfolio as well, because somebody needs to scan this presentation that you've already come up with. Somebody needs to go through line by line to follow a story. And I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this in UX design, storytelling. You take people through a journey, right? Even anything we do as product designers, right? From the point of thinking of user stories, user flows, there's a journey, set of tasks that somebody will be performing till they get to the end of that journey, right? Storytelling is a very, very important part of being a product designer, right? So that now comes into talking about the first thing, which is going to be to remember your design principles. Your layout needs to be clean and minimalistic. You don't want to clutter things with too many images or patterns in the background or too many animations. It becomes confusing. It might distract them more. I'm sure you guys see a lot of great websites, right? Go and check Apple's website, go and check, Google's websites, go and check Amazon's, should I say, website, go and check a lot of websites from the biggest companies in the world right now. They don't have too many animations, they don't have too much going on. They know you are here for a particular reason and they present those informations to you. So, case in point, your portfolio. One of the first things we would like to see when we go on your portfolio is, oh, your name, product designer, maybe your location, because location is actually a very good thing. You can say, oh, I'm based in Lagos. Somebody who might have come across your portfolio, who's looking to hire somebody in Lagos and loves what you've done with your portfolio, might take interest and pretty much contact you through your website. That's kind of like the fun thing about websites. You can be contacted through your website because you probably have a contact page or some of your social media links in there as well. So your layout needs to be clean and minimalistic so that they don't get confused as to why are we here, right? The second thing is to be consistent with visual hierarchy. Your headers should be headers because those things also, go into user experience, right? If everything here, right, was the same size and the same weight and the same color, there will be no way to distinguish between what's the header, what is the sub-header, and what is the main body of the text, right? So you need to understand visual hierarchy to be able to separate different elements from each other. If I'm reading something and, I can't distinguish if this is about a particular topic and this one is about a different topic, then there's no way I can believe in your ability as a product designer to bring real quality into a UX design. Because think about it, if I'm working on a project, maybe I'm trying to build an app for a company now, right? Where it's like news, where there's a lot of text. If I see that you don't work well with visual hierarchy in text and arrangements, I probably will not be able to recruit you because you are not showing me that you can do that from your own portfolio itself. And your portfolio is an example of what you've done before, you understand? So those things are very, very important for you to take note of, right? Also, the responsiveness of your design. As simple as your design needs to be for your website, as minimalistic as it needs to be, anybody can be, checking your website out from almost anything. I might be checking it out from a phone, or I might be checking it out from a laptop, or from an iPad. You never know where people who are checking your portfolios are coming from. Therefore, if you are going to be putting things on Behance or Dribble, always upload in high quality, the highest quality. Don't get stingy with data, right? You are trying to put yourself out there to have more possibilities of people, getting attracted to your, to your portfolio, to you as a person, and to your skills as well, because they will see value from your portfolio. And the only thing companies understand is value. If they don't see something as valuable, they will not invest their time or their money or their efforts in it, right? So those things are very, very important to know that what you are presenting to the world is you, the best version of you, the best things you've done. This is not the place for you to, every single redesign you've ever done, to put it on your portfolio. This is not the place. Your portfolio is not where you do that. And you can do that on your Instagram and whatever. You can put some things there. But your portfolio is where you put your best foot forward. The best things you've done, the things that you can defend, even if somebody woke you up and asked you about the project, you'll be able to talk about it fluently. Those are the things that you actually put in your portfolio. So the responsiveness part means anybody should be able to see it visibly and read all the text in clear sizing, right? So your responsive design needs to be as clean as it looks on a desktop, but also as, usable, because we need to read stuff and understand what you did on each project. You get? And then the third one is fast load times. Now, there's a contradiction between when I say upload in high quality and then fast load times. When internet speed is bad, a high quality image upload, right, is going to be very hard. It will actually take some time to load, right, before it actually, loads fully. So you can always find a nice balance. If your image is getting into size of 5 megabytes, 6 megabytes, that might be too much. You can always find a nice balancing between like the 1 megabyte, 2 megabyte range. Or sometimes when you're uploading, you don't upload as one, but you can break it into little chunks, right, of kilobyte images, so that you don't load the entire page. Because obviously, if you load an entire image that's like 80 something, should I say, megabytes in size, the problem with that is their internet will start loading it and will need to load the entire 80 something megabytes before it's, they can actually read anything. But if you can break it into small sections and then just arrange them top to bottom, it makes it so easy to load. At least they will start reading from the top. By the time they get to the page 5, right? Already page 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 has already loaded below, and then it can keep going smoothly that way. So you have to be very strategic with the way you arrange things in your portfolio as well. Everything is not about the easiest way to do things, but sometimes about the most strategic thing. Always remember that load times is very, very important. Images will need to load. MTN has been bad for a few, for a few weeks now, and everybody's still managing it, you understand? So if that happens when somebody is trying to quickly recruit, or they're going through your CV and then they see a link to your portfolio and they're trying to check you out, and then it's taking too long, remember, they have only 5 to 10 minutes to look through your CV and portfolio before they decide and say, we want to invite this person to an interview. After that, then you've already lost their attention. They need to go to the next person because so many people are applying for these jobs that you also applied for, right? So these are some of the key things that you always need to take note of, right? You always need to take note of those things. And again, SEO is a very, very important part of it as well. Every time you use an image, especially if you have a website, for those of you who might be planning to have a website later, I would like you to think about SEO, right? There's something they call alt text. So alt text makes it easy to scan, into your portfolio website. So any image you have in there, have a text in code, right? Or in the no code tool that just describes that image. Because in case somebody is searching for something online or searching for your name, that image and your portfolio will probably come on. So it gives you more chances to show up, even in places that you never knew they were hiring people as well. The SEO just allows the Google, should I say, analytics tool to crawl your website well and then pull out information as needed. Someone might say, oh, we're looking for somebody who has designed in fashion before for UI UX. And then one of your images from the design you did is showing up in Google search. They might click on that image and then it might lead them to the website where that image was posted. And then they find you and then they could actually recruit you, or at least probably have a conversation with you before they even decide to recruit. So those are very, very important, things to think of as well. SEO is a very, very big part of it. I believe you guys should be able to take your time, go back and then really, look into these things, right? But for websites, I will advise you guys to check out Framer. No code tools are best. And Framer is not different from Figma. Trust me. It's as easy as using Figma. I didn't use Framer for mine. I used Squarespace. So Squarespace is another example as well of no code tools. But also there's WordPress. For those of you who might know something about WordPress, or you have cousins who do WordPress as well, you could easily learn WordPress, quickly. YouTube is there. YouTube University is like the best place to learn anything. So if you want to create a website, it's very easy. Just go on YouTube, check out either Framer, either Squarespace, or maybe WordPress, for no-code tools. It's as easy as just designing stuff and arranging them, but it's not the same as Figma, basically. You can do some extra things that makes it feel like a real coded website. That's the difference between no-code and, Figma, tools, pretty much. And also, if you have a developer friend that could develop for you, you could actually strike a deal. My first website, it was me and someone I was working with back then, and I was like, okay, I would design your website for you, and then you code mine for me, right? So it was kind of like a nice exchange. And I designed his for him, he did that, and then he coded mine for me. But I quickly realized that coding a website from scratch is big wala, especially if you don't know how to code. Because a lot of times you need to now start going back to that developer. Please, let me add this page. Let me add that. So, I think the no-code tool is probably better because you can easily, at the click of a button, add a new page and just edit with just typing text inside and putting an image, and that's the end. So no-code tools are way better than probably, coding it from scratch. So second thing is user-friendly navigation. People need to be able to understand what we are reading. Remember, as we said already, hierarchy and all those things helps, navigation. But one of the first things is a clear navigation menu. We all know if we're on a website, there's always a nav bar at the top, right? Something like, like this black bar here. There's always a nav bar at the top that has some key links. One of your key links, at least in your website, should be maybe about you. If somebody wants to read more about you, they should be able to see an about page. So once they click on that about, you should take them to like, oh, about you. Tell them about a little bit about your story, how you became a product designer. Even if you have things like testimonials from people you've worked with before, or from teachers that mentored you as well, you can add them in that about you. It just shows, just for that talks about you and your integrity as a product designer, right? Another key page to have, which is very, very important, is all the projects you've ever done. Right, so you can call it my works, or you can call it my projects, or you can call it works, wherever you prefer, right? Just make sure it's something that if anybody reads it, they know that this is what this means. Don't use anything too technical to describe, that. So now when you go in there, for some of us who probably have worked on a lot of projects, all the different case studies for those projects will be there. Now, when I say case study is not about putting in the UI. Oh, I use this font, I use that, and then this is the UI. No, it's about the entire process from research. What did you find in research? How did you analyze? What were the key things that stood out when you're analyzing that, information, empathy maps, personas? You are showing everything in a case study. An employer will not hire you if you're just showing UI. So, because I know a lot of beginner product designers think it's all about the way it looks. Trust me, companies outside of Nigeria, companies in the US, in the UK, they're not looking for the best UI designers. They're looking for the greatest thinkers to think around how to make things very easy for people to navigate. If you see a lot of products, apps, websites in the UK, they don't look as fancy as what we have over here in Nigeria, right? But they are very functional. And these people raise billions and millions of dollars every year. You understand? Even more than the fancy looking ones in Nigeria. So performance is different from, aesthetics, right? Aesthetics contributes to performance. So as much as you can show that you can design, you need to show that you know how to follow all the process of research, right? Being able to, gain empathy by analyzing from an empathy map, card sorting, creating personas, coming up with customer journey maps before you even go start ideating and all those things. All those things are very, very important, right? So you need to show your analytical side. So case studies is what you'll be showing in projects, not just UI design. Please note those things, right? Now, the next one is definitely that's very important is your contact details. You should have your socials there, your Instagram, maybe your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not even a maybe anymore. LinkedIn is a must-have. You must always update your LinkedIn. Have a very, very nice headshot of yourself. Looking all clean and dapper, right? Find your cousin or your friend or a studio around you. Go there, wear your best shirt, understand, and take that headshot. Like that headshot will always pay off. Maybe maximum you pay 5K for that headshot. But make sure they edit it to like standard taste. But also there are AI tools you can use. Take a selfie of yourself, upload it on those AI tools, and then to generate the headshot for you. The problem with those AI tools is they need time to learn, really. So they're not getting the faces accurately. So you might end up not looking like yourself. And you don't want that. So basically, our advice, find a photographer to take a good picture of you. It might just cost you 5,000 or 10,000, right? Maximum. And then you have something good for your LinkedIn. But your LinkedIn must always be optimized, right? So anyway, so in your contacts could also be a form where they can actually type in stuff, or your email address where they can easily click and then just takes them to an inbox where they can actually send you an email. Because you never know who is looking through your website. You never know who is looking for a designer. So that's a very, very great place to also, have that as well. Also, one of the things as well you can have in your portfolio is if you teach people, if you mentor people, you can actually have a link there that says, my classes, right? And then you can show all the different classes that you teach. I remember there's somebody I mentored back in 2021, right? But what the guy does with his, he never actually took a job. All he just did was master Figma and product design. And ever since, all he just does is teach people. He teaches people in churches, he teaches people in low-income neighborhoods, and he's making his money as well, right? And also making an impact in people's lives as well. All he does is teach. He actually doesn't take jobs, but just teaches. So there are a lot of different places or different, niches that you can put yourself into, and you can sell yourself through your own website as well. So user-friendly navigation is very, very important, right? Make sure the words are very concise. If it says about, if I click on about, it should take me to the about us page. If it says projects, if I click on it, it show me a list of different projects, or maybe it's just one project. Since you guys just started, even if it's just one, if I open that project, I should be able to read all your process on how you started, the research you did. You don't have to tell us all the questions you asked, but tell us what you found out in research. And please be analytical, show numbers. The way research works and the way it convinces people is where you can see, 80% of something, you understand, prefer this over that. You understand what I mean? So those numbers reinforces your skills. It shows, metric, because businesses care about metrics a lot. KPIs, key performance indicators. What are the indicators that we're looking at this month against the next month against the next month? For this research, what are we trying to find out? So numbers, businesses only know numbers. So if you can communicate in numbers as well, as much as you're talking about research, it definitely gives you a better chance of landing that job, right? Now, also breadcrumbs are very important as well. By the time you start having pages nested between pages, people need to have a simple way to go back or skip a lot of pages that they've come through to go back to the beginning. So those breadcrumbs are always very nice, right? To just have them be able to skip a bunch of steps and then go back to the home page immediately, right? So that helps you to make navigation easier. Also, if you have a lot of projects, right, and somebody might be looking for something specific, it might be nice to have a search functionality, right? Somebody just comes in and says, okay, you have a lot of things you've listed there. They'll just come in and just search e-commerce. If they search e-commerce, you should be able to filter that entire page of long projects to just one or two things and then show different e-commerce projects. And then they can click and then read more about that. You understand? So especially if you have a large portfolio, but you guys don't have a large portfolio, so the search functionality might not really apply to you guys yet. But still, if you still want to add it, it's never really, it never takes away from your ability to get a job anyway, if you still want to have a search functionality. Because the aim is for you guys to do this for the next 10, 15 years and make millions and millions of naira and dollars self. You understand? So if that's the aim, you should pretty much prepare now, have that website be able to search so that every year when you're doing projects, you have a functionality that anybody can search through and then be able to, contact you for jobs and gigs and things like that. So visual consistency, very, very important. Your entire portfolio must be consistent. If I'm talking about a project about e-commerce and it's a brand where their color is red and maybe orange, if that is their color, I need to be consistent with that. And what I mean when I say consistency, what I'm talking about is I need to make sure I'm using the same font throughout the entire case study that I'm writing, right? Even throughout my website as well, outside of the case studies, right? Throughout the entire website, for the nav bars, for the footers, for all the text in the bodies, the headers, I'm consistent, right? I have a clear, consistent, font I'm using for my portfolio, which is even part of my personal brand. Because as a person, you need to think of yourself as a brand, right? Think of all these social media influencers. Think of music artists. I'm sure a lot of us listen to artists like Burna Boy, Wizkid, and these guys. These guys are brands on their own, right? These guys themselves, they are brands. So you need to see yourself as a brand. Your website is representing you as a brand. It's selling you out there. You are there. Anybody searches for your name, they can find your website, click on it, and then contact you. That is you being a brand. And beyond that, there's some things I'll talk about later, which borderline enters social media and some other things like that. But your visual consistency, you need to have a font that is synonymous with that, your brand. Remember, when you guys learned UI UX design, right? There's primary, typefaces and secondary typefaces. Pick one that is for your brand and don't deviate from that in any way throughout your entire portfolio. You stick to that. But now, within the case studies, each project might have their own fonts. You can now pretty much use within that case study to compose the case study for that project or for that company that you work for. You can use their brand colors and their brand typefaces, right? But not outside the case study. You maintain your brand outside of the case studies, but within the case study, you can now be uniform to this particular company or the project you worked on, the brand for that. You understand? Because I should feel something different if I'm looking at an e-commerce case study. I should feel something different if I'm looking at something in fintech or health tech, or maybe it's in logistics. I should feel something different because they are all different brands. Understand? And they have a brand identity, they have design systems, or maybe style guides, maybe not full-fledged design systems. But all these things will contribute to me understand that this person definitely knows what they're doing because they're able to clearly show that difference, right? Also, as I said, high quality images are very, very important, right? Throughout your work, high quality images. But make sure you know how to break them down. If it's an image that's very long, if you need to break it into little pieces and arrange them next to each other so that they look like one, do that, right? But as much as you can, test your website or test your portfolio, look at it and look, is this thing grainy or is it very sharp? If it's very sharp, then you have a high quality, image right there uploaded. Another thing you should also check for is typographical errors as well. It's very, very important. It's probably high quality images as well, right? Because when you are exporting something from Figma, you might have done mistake in maybe capitalization or the way you spelled something. Use spell checkers, understand? Or even use AI to generate copy, right? Write something and then tell AI to rewrite it better for you so that you can use it to, improve on your grammar or the way you're talking about your portfolio project. Understand what I mean? And then this the last part here for the visual consistency is interactive elements. They are very, very important, right? Little animations here and there, something like loading animation. And trust me, there's something in Figma now. Maybe you guys can look at YouTube for this, but you can actually design a loop, right? I'm sure you guys know how to use a prototyping in Figma. You can design a component loop that just does something. It could be your name, right? But the text is transforming in one way from one frame to the other. Now there's a plugin called Lottie files. You can use that Lottie files to export that as a GIF or a JSON file. So the JSON file is just a coded version of a GIF, you understand? So you can use Lottie files to export that and just put it in your website. And that stuff will be looping your name. It could even be your face, you understand? It could just be changing something, right? And easily you have an animated GIF of yourself, just adding a little bit of element of excitement to it. Because trust me, you can see the way this slide is. It's just text, text, text. Text can be very, very boring. But an image says 1,000 words. But if an image says 1,000 words, trust me, a video or an animating little look video says 1,000,000 words. You understand? So those things help to keep people glued or keep people interested in continue reading, your case study or your portfolio as well. So then the thing here is showcase your best work first. So when you have a lot of projects that you've done, like let's say you have 5 projects you've done, the best work you've ever done, right? That looks best, that the process is well documented. You have all the screenshots of all the empathy maps, all the everything you've done. The best work that talks about everything you can do. That should be the first one on the list, because most recruiters are very lazy. They will not scroll all the way down or pick. They just pick the first one they see and they'll go inside. If they can have access to it, they'll consider you. If they cannot have access to it, then you are probably going to just go into the, unfortunately pile. You understand what I mean when I say unfortunately, right? So your best work needs to be first. You understand? Now, so highlight your top project. You can always have a tag on your project and just say top project, or you can even tag it e-commerce or tag it fintech. Right? You might have worked in different industries like I have, right? So you can just tag it with something. So fintech, e-commerce. Those little tips here and there, right, would always how can I put it? Those little tips would direct, because if a company that is primarily in healthcare, they're looking at my portfolio, they'll look at which tag is closely related to health, right? So they might look at something like maybe fintech, because fintech is about security, trust, and all that stuff. And health as well has a lot to do with trust. But empathy is, is the main watchword of, health. So therefore, they'll probably want to look at something that around an industry that you worked in that is closest to health, not particularly, even if you've not done health before. But then if you've done health before, they will actually go to that health project directly. And then they will look at that to see, will this person be able to do a good job if they work for us? And then they will consider you through that. You understand? So highlight your top projects, tag them, you understand? Tag them with, Then the second thing is to curate your content, right? As I said, AI will help you curate content. As much as feed AI as much as you've done with the project, and then use AI to rewrite a lot of the things they are writing about your project, right? To help you expand something to maybe more paragraphs, or shrink something that is too long into a shorter paragraph, right? AI will definitely help you, but always just showcase, work that you're proud of, right? And, something that describes the kind of job that you want, you understand? So always showcase those best things. And I have a feeling that you guys actually did, projects in class. So those projects that you did in class, work on them, turn them into like a full-fledged case study. That case study might actually be what actually gets you your first job. Like mine actually did for me when I started in 2018, right? The next, then I think, so interactive elements as usual, right, is also very good as well within your best work. Right, show the screens. Maybe somebody clicks on something, record a short video of it and put it in that, in your case study, so that they can see that this one is clickable. When they expand this drop down, this person knows how to use components, or they know how to use auto layout, know how to do all these different things. Right, once they can see those things, they have more confidence that you'll be able to deliver, within that, should I say, that context of their company. Right now, the next topic is now going to be about highlighting your design process and problem, right? So now you're going to need to highlight your design process. When I say design process, we all know design thinking, right? Which is, standard. And I think, I'm not sure if somebody asking a question or somebody's raising it. So go ahead. I think somebody's raising their hands. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you want to ask a question or something. Yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying is you need to be able to highlight your design process and your problem solving skills, right? In your case, now this is going to be tailored to case study, not particularly the entire portfolio, but now we are talking about what should be in your case study. Your case study is what will get you hired. Your case study is what you are going to show in your interview. You will share your screen in an interview and you will talk about your case study from top to bottom, but you will not bore them. Now, that is where we need to find a nice, a nice balance. And that's what I'm about to talk about in this, next section. So the structure of your case study. Now, the structure goes from top left, right, to the bottom, right, top left to right, and scan down to the bottom. So the first step is going to be introduction when it comes to your case study. Start with the problem statement, right? The brief overview of the project. Oh, how many designers work with you? Who did you work with? How many months did it take to, complete this entire project? What type of industry is it? What was your role? Did you research? Did you design? Or was it only design that you did and somebody else did research? Show those things. What was the timeline, right? What was the project's objective? Pretty much talks about things like problem statements as well. Your problem statement is something that captures the entire objective anyway, right? So talk about all those things. Your introduction is very, very important. Once I can read your introduction and see your capacity as a person, I can be able to say, okay, we will not read through this entire case study right now, but we'll send this person an invite for the interview, right? And then when we now talk, they will explain more of everything else they did, right? Because the first person that will reach out to will be a recruiter, not the technical person. So a recruiter will reach out to you first. Then the technical person will now have a meeting with you later, and then they'll be able to, ask you about every single thing you did. And please, as much as you might create your case study or you want to lie in there or add some numbers, just make sure you know how to defend that case study very well, right? Know how to defend it. So after your introduction is your problem statement, right? And problem statement clearly just defines the problem or the challenges that you're addressing. Now, your introduction, a little bit of your problem statement will be in there so that it makes them excited a little bit. Oh, we're solving for helping maybe homeless people find shelter. Bam. It's part of your problem statement, but it's a very good thing to see on introduction because people are interested. Anybody who reads something like that would have like a sense of empathy in them, right? They'll be like, it will spark some form of interest. And once that interest is sparked, right, they'll want to see, okay, let's ask this guy exactly how did they even solve this problem. You understand? So your problem statement itself will now talk more about the entire problem at large. Oh, they discovered this in 2002, that so number of Nigerians were homeless. You understand? So it breaks things down. Problem statement itself captures a larger, part of it and what you actually set out to actually solve, right? So what problem statement just do, like, it sets the stage for understanding the context of that project or that work that you did. You understand? That's what the problem statement is. Now, the next step is now to talk about your research. We all know design thinking. Research, right? Define, ideate, prototype, and then you test. So research is going to be the first thing. What methods did you use in researching, right? How many people did you interview or survey with? What were your findings? You summarize it. You don't bore us with all the questions you asked. Summarize things in a clear way. Show us your empathy maps, right? Show us your personas that you came up with. What are the 2 or 3 different types of users that might be using this project? That's what the persona is. Show us those things, and then people are more interested in, oh, wow, you really thought about this problem clearly, right? Now, the next step is now your ideation and sketching. What ideas, what brainstorming framework did you work with? Were you doing brainwriting, right? Was it standard brainstorming or was it like, crazy eights? How did you guys sketch? Who was involved in your ideation? Because only one person cannot ideate, you understand? So how is it now that only you ideated if you are saying you ideated, you understand? One person can ideate, but it will not be effective as if you have 2, 3 people with you. And in ideation, the people you're ideating with don't have to be designers. Could be your project manager, could be your CEO, could be your developers. You need to be able to show that range that you work with other people on that project to come up with ideas, and then you sketch a few things quickly in order to test ideas out. So ideation and sketching stages, right? It shows your ability to generate and create ideas quickly, right? Just the ability to do things really, really fast. It shows that. And once you can show that in your case study, pretty much, I think any technical lead would definitely consider hiring you, even if your designs are not the best. they will definitely consider hiring, because great thinkers, companies need great thinkers. Understand what I mean? So the next thing is that now your design solutions, right? Explain how you develop your designs to solve the problem. Tell us, oh, then you started. Did you create a design system, or did you adopt an existing design system? Right? You cannot just start designing and showing us screens. There must be something that, oh, we decided that the fonts to use were this one and this one. The colors that we use were all these ones. How did we derive those colors? It's very, very important to talk about these things. A lot of us think it's not important, but technical leads are looking at these things very, very closely to see, maybe you'll be able to come into the team, understand everything that they have on ground, and be able to land and start working and producing results immediately. They don't want to start teaching you about colors, design systems, tokens, and things like that. So, you need to showcase all those different things in your design solution, that this was how we arrived at this final design. We created so components, and this was what got us to this final stage, right? And then talk about your challenges. Every project has challenges, either in working with somebody, or maybe in finding people to research with, or maybe you even designed at first, and then when you tested that design, the users discovered that they could not use it that way, and then you have to make iterations. You have to go back and make changes, or maybe even do more research in order to make better changes, and then test, things like that, right? Or sometimes maybe time constraints is a challenge as well. They wanted it in 3 weeks, but it was something that was so, there was not enough data to even produce it in 3 weeks. You understand? So those are very, very important things to be able to showcase in your portfolio, right? Or even technical limitations. Maybe the company could not afford to pay for Figma, company this thing, right? And you have to work with free Figma that just limits it to just 2 or 3 pages, right? Mention those things so that they can see the human side of it. Because everything you'll be talking about is the perfection view of things from your case study. But the challenges make you now seem more human, that you are learning and you are continuously evolving and growing. Then the final part is the results. What was the result of this entire thing that you did, right? What was the final result? Did users enjoy using it a lot more? How often did you guys update? Was the company able to raise money, or did they enter some competition and then they won that competition because the design was just so good? So many things like that. Talk about the after. Also, at the end of it as well, you also have to mention your key learnings, things you learned on that project. It's a very, very good thing to have it in your portfolio as well, right? What did I learn from this project? Oh, in the e-commerce, this thing, I learned that the e-commerce sector is so vast. There are so many ways that this could be, blah, 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 blah. Explain the things you learned so that it shows that for every project you are doing, you are learning something, and you're able to go to the next project or the next job, taking lessons from there and applying it to that next thing, right? So it makes you seem human as well. But your key learnings are very, very important to showcase in your case study, right? Now, visual storytelling is always very, very important. As much as we spoke about all these different things, you have to insert images of your flow diagrams, of the screens, of your empathy maps, of your personas. All those things will be somewhere in there in each of these different steps. Your case study must not be boring. Must have a balance of text and visuals as well. You understand? So you need to find and strike that right balance. Put the appropriate things in the right places, right? Journey maps, personas, wireframes, right? Your UI design. Where should they go? Even your wireframe, when you sketched, show those things. It shows the entire process. You understand? Me personally, whenever I'm trying to recruit, I love people that have a lot of things in rough work. When I can see screenshots of rough, looking Figma files, when you were just trying to make a lot of changes, it makes me excited that somebody that is willing to learn is trying to join my team. And I'll probably go for that person more than the person that everything is just very clean and, looking too robotic. Your flow diagrams are very, very important. User flows. You must show either a user flow or an information architecture diagram in your case study. It is a must. You need to have one of those two things. And when you are doing your interviews, you have to talk about that. You have to spend a little bit of time in that section, right? To talk about the flow diagram and how it was influenced, right? And which other flow diagram you created before that wasn't so great, but this was the final one. You need to show reasoning in your entire, your entire project. And then the interactive prototype, a small recording of how the app or the website or the smartwatch app or whatever it is that you designed, right? Of how it just flows from one page to the other. Maybe a pop-up comes up, or maybe something slides away, or maybe somebody's trying to send money. Show just one, in your case study, right? Show is like a video recording, very small, right in our face, where they can just see that moving and animating. It makes us know that you are very good at interaction design as well. Because as much as we want to hire somebody who knows process, we want somebody who can also design also, you understand? So those things, it doesn't have to be the most fancy design, but as long as it was functional, we can see that it meets the standards of clean UI, then there's no problem really in that, in that part. Now, at the end of it, of your case study is always your reflection, as I said before, right? What you learned is very, very important to talk about what you learned, right? It's very, very important to talk about what you learned. It's a very, very important thing. Understand? So conclude each case study with a reflection on what you've learned during that project, right? It shows how you grew as a designer, understand? And then what you would do differently next time, or how you even plan to update that project if given the chance. It's a very, very good thing. And also part of the results is the impact on the business, right? A lot of times you don't have access to this information, but the important thing is to be able to ask, right? Ask your recruiter, sorry, your HR or your operations manager, right? Oh, how well is this doing? Like before we designed this app, we had no users, but within 6 months, how many users do we now have on the App Store? Is it up to 100,000 or 200,000? On the App Store ratings, are we 5-star or 3-star or 2-star? Right? All those different things. Those are metrics. It impacts the business in some way, and also tells on your own skills, because you design this thing that people are actually loving or hating. You understand? So you need to talk about those things. The impact on the business is a very, very important part to that. Now, in getting jobs, you need to leverage social media platforms. It's very, very important. The power of network is something I cannot really overemphasize in this conversation. I personally am a very, very shy person. I don't talk, I don't go out much, right? I never go anywhere. I think 9 out of 10 times if anyone calls me, I'm probably home working, right? So leveraging social media has been my own go-to place, has been where I get my jobs, where I get projects. A lot of I can say 95% of people I've worked with, I've never met them physically. Everything is just virtual. Can just work from home, have meetings, discuss, make the changes, and send it off. Social media is a very, very, is a valuable tool for everybody. And I would like you guys I would like to encourage you guys to do that as much as you can. Start small, even if it's just 1 like or 2 likes that you're getting on social media. Trust me, over time, the more consistent you are, the more you grow, the more people will start seeing your journey. That this person posted last week, now they are posting, it's looking better. They are posting again, it's looking better, right? You need to do something. So let's start from LinkedIn. Let's talk about LinkedIn. The first thing is going to be to optimize your profile on LinkedIn, because a lot of people look for people on LinkedIn all the time. And in recent weeks, I personally have been getting a very huge influx of recruiters reaching out to me through LinkedIn, right? A lot of recruiters are reaching out because my LinkedIn is optimized. They are the right skills, keywords. Go into your LinkedIn, take your time. It's not even about the profile picture this time around, but it's about the settings of your profile, right? In your preferences, what kind of job are you looking for? Is it remote? Is it on-site? Is it hybrid roles? Is it contract? Is it full-time? There are different, there are settings in there that some of you guys don't know yet. Take your time and spend time in LinkedIn. Every single thing that is doable on LinkedIn, you need to do that. Set your bio. Very, very simple, nice, clean bio that just explains who you are uniquely as a product designer, right? So optimize your profile. Understand, right? Your skills, your experience, even if you've been a teacher before, right? Put it there in your LinkedIn. It shows that you worked somewhere before. You understand what I mean, right? You learned, even this learning with Pexels as well. Put it there as part of your education. Yes, you did BSc, you did masters, then you came to do, the Pexels professional training. Put your certificate there if you can. You understand? So it's very, very important to optimize your profile, because people search for designers in different locations, and your name might come up. You never know what the algorithm might do. And if you pop up in a company that is looking to pay somebody maybe $3,000 a month, that's a very, very big win. You understand? So optimize your link. Take your time. It might be stressful, but the result is going to be way worth it at the end of the day. Trust me. Second thing is to share your work as much as you can. As much as you design. You're looking at things on Instagram, on YouTube, different designs. Try them out. Just post them. These are not case studies this time around. These are just little things that you try your hands on and then you post. Share your work. Sometimes as well, if you get your first job or you're working for free on contract with somebody, right? And then maybe you faced a challenge that you're able to solve successfully. Write a little bit of something in ChatGPT. Let GPT write a little blog article for you. Post it on LinkedIn Add a picture in there of yourself, maybe with your laptop, maybe your brother, or your cousin, or your wife, right? Or your husband takes you a picture while you are typing or something. It shows, growth as well. Post, share your work on LinkedIn. I don't do these things, right? Right? I might be hypocritical for me to say these things, but I've seen it work for so many of my, my mentees so many times, right? And I feel like it's definitely going to work for you guys. I'm not a very social person, so by nature, but some of you guys are way more social than I am, right? So I feel like this is actually a very foolproof way to get engagement. The more you post on LinkedIn, the more the LinkedIn algorithm will be listing your name in a list of searches a lot of times, right? Second thing, the next thing is to engage with others. Try to engage with professionals. Find a mentor. That's just what this means, right? LinkedIn has some of the world's biggest, the CEOs of the biggest companies are on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not saying you should DM the CEOs of those companies or send friend requests to them, but look into the companies themselves. Find the people working in those companies and then send messages, right? Send messages to like the HR manager or the product designer there. And don't go from the approach of, oh, I'm looking for a job. No, go from the approach of, I'd like to know more about what you do. I recently just learned product design and I'm trying to grow. People love to be able to teach people something, right? I know how good it feels every time I teach somebody something, I tell them or something, right? So you are not asking them directly. So now once you establish that connection with that person, that, oh, they can be chatting with you once in a while and giving you tips. And they can just casually just come like, hey, boss, I'm looking for a job. Or like, if anything opens up, please remember your boy. Understand? Simple. Companies hire more when it's a recommendation than when somebody's just applying, just out of the blue. You understand what I mean? So it's a very, very good thing to be able to engage and network with people. Go to networking events as well. It's not even just LinkedIn this time. If there are any design communities, join UX groups. Very, very important. A lot of those communities have live events happening around your area, in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, anywhere, right? All these people, they have all these, they have all these different communities and events going on. There are a lot of events happening in Lagos almost every weekend, design events. I know so many communities that have events all the time, right? So look for groups on LinkedIn and join those groups. It allows you to engage with other people that are probably doing better or even 10 years in experience. They might even just be looking for somebody to hire. And at that event, you guys have a conversation and then they're like, oh, wow, this guy seems like he knows what he's saying. And let me book you for an interview. Let's see, maybe by Monday, we have an interview. And before you know it, you're interviewing with somebody that I just met 2 days before. You understand? So you can never really overemphasize, what, networking and engaging with people really does, for you, right? Twitter as well. Follow industry leaders, the best designers in the world. All these guys that are on YouTube all the time, I follow a lot of them. But beyond that, learn about things outside UX. Follow people like, free thinkers like Elon Musk. Follow guys like, like Bezos. Follow guys like, what's this guy called again? There are so many guys that you can follow, right? Basically, it doesn't have to just be UX designers. Sometimes the way people think, right? When you listen to some of the words, it connects with you. It changes your mindset a little bit, right? It changes how you approach some things as well. It's a very, very important thing to have. Follow industry leaders, people that you would like to see as an example, right, of where you would like to be one day. Not specifically as a UX designer, but generally as a person, right? Also follow product managers as well, or design agencies. They might be posting some things about tips or posting job vacancies. You never know what will happen. But you need to at least position yourself and able to be able to see those things, right? Second thing is to share insights. That means you are teaching, but not really teaching per se. Just, share design tips. Oh, I had this problem and this was what I did to solve it. Record a short video for it and post it on your Twitter or LinkedIn, anywhere you want to, really. But share your insight. New things you learn, share it out there. People love to, they love to stay where they can learn and improve themselves. So if you are making that mistake before somebody else makes the mistake, right? If they are watching your videos, they are able to avoid and grow 10 and twice faster than you did, right? And they'll probably follow you. So that engagement is also very, very good for you to have that following, right? And the next one also is just networking during events. If at any events, live, Twitter lives, all these things, right? Be able to engage, come in there, drop comments, make, also contribute to what is being said as well. There are a lot of them happening right now on Twitter. It just depends on what pages you are following or who you are following on Twitter. Understand? So surround yourself with all things design. Surround yourself with all things, design related, or at least the industry you are interested in. Design, surround yourself with all those things on your social media. Then Dribble and Behance, as I said, this will be your first portfolio. So, as I said before, showcase your best work. Design your portfolio case study in Figma from top to bottom and upload it to your Behance. But make sure you follow structure, right? I'm sure your tutor has spoken about structure of the case studies and all those things. So follow structure. But if not, on this slide as well, by the time they provide this to you guys, the structure is also available in there as well. So you'll be able to get it, right? Then engage with the community. Dribble has a community. They have a job vacancy section. Behance has a community. They have a job vacancy section as well. Behance even has a place where you can post projects you are doing in progress, projects you just finished, so many things you can do. You can even DM people through Behance as well. So engage with the community. Try to interact with other people or groups or companies in those, in those areas. Understand? But remember, don't approach with I'm looking for a job. Approach with the mind of learning or observing something and sending a proposal that, oh, I'd like to improve the flow of this. I saw something. You understand? And then you can definitely, get your foot in that door. Once you can get your foot in the door, you can easily now ask about a job, like, oh, if there are any vacancies, please remember me, so. Right? And the next one is to participate in challenges. There are a lot of challenges all over the place. There was a challenge on one platform I use, UXL, right? There was a challenge there, I think 2 months ago, where the winner won $3,000, right? Very, very nice, cool money, basically $3,000. And the thing was just to design an e-commerce product that allows people to gain rewards, right? But in a very easy way, in a more modern way. And a lot of people submitted designs. I think the guy that was first got 3,000. The next guy got, I think, 1.5, and then the third guy got maybe 500 and some extra gifts or something like that. But participate in challenges. Also, be on the lookout for hackathons. Be on the lookout for hackathons, right? That you can participate in, because those things put you in the view of everybody. That, oh, I participated in this hackathon, and anything you do, write about it on your LinkedIn or your Twitter. You understand? Put them everywhere, so that anybody who's anywhere searching, regardless, they will find those things. And the final thing I want to talk about here is going to be demonstrating design thinking and problem-solving abilities during the interview. Now, the interview is now what I want to talk about. At the interview, how do you communicate? First thing I would say, don't be too nervous on an interview. Right? A lot of us, we're always very tense before the interview, and it's not really good for you, right? You will not be able to flow naturally. See the interview like you are talking to your friend, right? Look at the interviewer like you are speaking to a friend. The same way you would interact with, with your friend when you are explaining something to them, but in a more serious manner, right? Smile as much as you can as well. Don't go there and frown your face and be talking like a robot. No. Smile a little bit and communicate effectively. That exchange is also very, very good. But one thing I would say is avoid talking too much, right? I have a tendency to talk too much in interviews, right? And I was able to learn that quickly, I think, early last year. And I kind of just cut that a little bit. Sometimes we, as designers, we have a tendency to over-explain things, right? As much as we might think the other person is not getting what we are saying, they are getting. You just need to just calm down a little bit and allow them to ask us questions. You understand? So sometimes shutting up is better than over-explaining, things too much. So to prepare for the design challenge, right? There's something called the design challenge that every company will give you. Understand? And the first thing is going to be to understand the problem. Now, in the design challenge, they'll come to you and they'll say, oh, we want to do a whiteboard exercise, or they'll just send you a task to just go and try on your own. When they send you that thing, first thing is to understand it. Understand that stuff first. So start by asking questions. So when they send you something, you just go and start designing. List questions out and send them those questions, and then they will answer you. It's a test to see if you're a designer. If you're a designer who knows how to research. You asking questions is you researching already. So that already gives them a blue check already on your, on your probability of getting hired. So understanding the problem means you are asking questions beyond what they gave you. You understand? So clarify everything. Then the second thing is to think out loud. Sometimes it's live, especially with companies abroad in the US. They like to have something called the whiteboard challenge. The whiteboard challenge is you being on a call just the way we are right now, and you'll be sharing your screen. And right inside Figma or FigJam, you'll be coming up with ideas and thinking out loud. You being able to think out loud, you might mention something that is very brilliant, and they will love that thing. And that's another blue check on your probability of getting hired, right? And the next thing is to sketch and iterate. Nobody in a whiteboard challenge is looking for the best finalized design. What they are looking for is, at least, can you sketch so that we can get and give us a wireframe of this thing that you've come up with the idea with, right? Because the first step, you research. They're thinking out loud, is already ideation, right? Sketching is already you prototyping in a way. It's just low fidelity prototype, you understand? So you being able to sketch right on that session live with them definitely shows that you are going to be a valuable asset, because within just 30 minutes, you're able to come up with a few screens, a few ideas, and if you were given the job to spend months in this company, you were definitely going to, produce a lot of results beyond that. So that shows a lot of skill. So always prepare for your challenges. Try to practice on your own. You can go on YouTube. There are videos on YouTube that, will tell you about different design challenges and what you should do and what you should avoid for, whiteboard challenges. So check those things out. Always prepare for interviews. Don't just go assuming you know everything. No. Look at examples of interviews on YouTube. There are a lot of them out there, right? Then you walk people through. Now, when you are walking people through your case studies, it's very, very important to be detailed. We did research. What method did we use? Who did I work with when we're doing the research? How did I come up with the questions? How did we share it with people? Be very detailed, but short. Don't spend 30 minutes talking about the entire research. It doesn't make any sense. You understand? So you want to keep it short. This is what we did. This is how we did it. And these were the results. Summary, the end. So there's something they call the STAR method, right? The situation, the task, the action, and then the result. STAR. Note it down. Let me just maybe type it down here for you guys. It's called the STAR method. That is how you answer questions in interviews. STAR, STAR method. I think, yes, STAR. So first one is situation, right? Meaning the situation in which you try to solve the problem, right? What was the issue that was on ground? And the second thing is the task that was up to you to now do. And the next thing is the action that you took in order to solve that problem. Then the results, understand, of you performing that action, right? How did they affect everything? So the STAR method, every question they ask you, approach it from the STAR method. This was what the problem was. This was what they told me that this was what I had to do. This is what I did, and this was what we achieved. The end. Don't talk too much. Don't talk too little. Very simple, right? So be very detailed as much as you can, and then show problem solving. That's what the STAR method actually does for you. The problem solving, STAR method captures that problem solving, technique for everything. And then highlight collaboration. Every time you're talking, don't say I. Talk from the perspective of, oh, I did this in collaboration with the project manager or the developers or another designer on your team, or you had a writer, or sometimes you work with the CEO. Try to mention the people you work with once in a while so that it doesn't feel like you're just a one-man team, you understand? You have to mention all the different things and the people that you worked with and how, in what capacity you work with them. It showcases that you are going to be a very good team player when you join their team. You understand? And then the next thing is to ask inside at the end of every interview. If they say, oh, do you have any questions for us? Please don't ever say no. Right? Don't say no. Always ask at least one question. Ask about the company, right? Ask about the leadership structure in their company for the design team. Ask about what their pressing problem is. And, also ask questions around what does success look like if I were to join your team, right? What does success look like within 1 month, right? What would make you be proud of me as a hire if I was hired and I was performing on your team? What are those things that I would have to achieve in order to be successful? Ask questions. Also, one thing as well, so that you don't undercut yourself when it comes to salaries, don't ever tell them a salary expectation. Play it back and tell them, I know you guys don't know me, right? It's a very interesting trick that I picked up, right? So you can always say something like, oh, I know you guys don't know me yet, right? But depending on how well the interview goes and whatever the budget for this role is, I'm very happy to work within that ballpark and achieve success with whatever company's names is, right? Whatever your company name's team is, right? And then pretty much you've kind of like you did like a switcheroo on them and you turned it back on their head, right? But whenever they start pressuring you to give them a number, it might probably not be a very great company to work with because they're just trying to force you to say something, so that they can probably undercut you. Because sometimes it has happened to me before. There was a freelance project. I think the price for that project, right? They never stated, but they were pressuring me, and then I messed up. I mentioned something so ridiculous. I think I said 900K or something, and then Later, I was talking to the project manager who was a friend, and it was like the budget for that was actually $4,500, right? So I underplayed myself in that particular situation. So therefore, ever since then, I've never stated a number. I'll just always, do that switcher role. And then they'll mention their own budget. I'll be like, oh, that budget works for me. Internally, I'm smiling because it's a higher number than what I was thinking. But, that's always a very good added, thing to that. So the thing is also, as I said, according to that structure, the learning and the growth, always mention how you learned, how you grew, especially when talking, right? Mention how you learned on that project and how you grew. And also, you can even make reference to a past project, how what you learned from that past project affected how faster you're able to design on this new project. You understand? And yeah, on a side note, just the final thing here is just, before you go for any interview or start applying for jobs, first thing is to develop core UX skills. There are some core UX skills that you need to develop. You need to understand usability. You need to know how to research. A lot of you guys just learned, so it might take time for you guys to really get to that, high level. But trust me, you are still going to get there regardless. But you need to develop the core skills, and the core skills include the ability to research, the ability to ask questions. It's not even just ask questions, but ask brilliant questions. The ability to analyze, the answers you are getting, and then identify whether you need to ask further questions or maybe that is enough information for now, right? The ability to come up with ideas, ability to sketch, make quick changes, right? Ability to do those things. Those are your core UX skills. They are very, very important. So you need to have a grasp on the core UX fundamentals, because they might say some things. Like if you get on an interview and somebody asks you, oh, how did you create affordance for something, right? And then when you hear the word affordance, and you're like, I've not heard this word affordance before, right? And then you're asking questions. But these are very, very simple words. They also mean just little things that allow you to do things within an app, right? That's just what an affordance is. But when you actually get there, then you hear the word affordance, and then you start scratching your head. And please, when you don't know something, just say you don't know it, right? Or you don't have an experience with it. Don't go there trying to formulate an answer, and then you end up looking like a liar. It's just better to not be a liar than to end up bullshitting your way out of a tough situation, right? And then the next thing is to work on real projects, no matter how small. There will be people that are looking for people to partner with. Take those projects on. I've done a lot of projects for free. I got 0 kobo, right? But those things allowed me to learn, allowed me to improve, allowed me to learn, improve. So that by the time I actually got a paying gig, I was able to get there and I was just performing at the level of a senior person, right? Even though I was still a junior, even though it was my first gig, I was just doing things constantly. So offer your services to small businesses, right? NGOs, startups, whoever it is. Real world experience is very, very valuable, because you never actually really know how well you are doing until you are working with a client who is criticizing your work. It's very easy for you to design and just assume, oh, I'm designing, it's so nice, it's going well. No. When somebody tells you to change this, change that, that is when you are designing, really. You understand? It's so easy to make assumption that the design looks nice. No. When you work with somebody, really, right, and then you test with real users, and then users are giving you feedback, oh, that they don't understand this, or this is not clear to them. You understand? You start realizing that where real design really lies is in iteration, in making changes, learning and changing things in the design quickly. That's why you see Instagram making changes, like updates all the time, right? WhatsApp updates all the time. That's the agile process. They are learning and then they're improving things, learning and improving. That's how it goes. And then the third thing is to tailor your applications. Any job you're applying to, tailor your application to that job. Your CV must be for that job. You must write a CV for that job. There are some keywords that they use in the job descriptions, right? Copy the entire job description and the company information, paste it on ChatGPT, and tell GPT to create a resume for you based on keywords from or based on product designer keywords, right? For that job, to give you some key bullet points to add to your resume. Once you do that, because there's something they call an ATS system, right? ATS, once you submit your CV, the ATS will take your CV and scan it. If you can scan your CV well and pull out all the right information, they will proceed you to probably the HR manager. But a lot of people lose at the ATS level. The ATS, your CV must not be an image, must not be a, what's it called? should I say a Canva template. Please don't use Canva templates for your CV, at least as a UX designer, because this is a technical role, right? They use Microsoft Word, create a very, very bland, and I'll share you guys a sample CV, templates, right? Google Docs. I always use Google Docs to create mine. So I'll show you guys a sample, and then you guys can make a copy and modify it however you want to, right? It will actually help you guys create something and just export or download that document as a PDF. And ATS will be able to scan that easily. That's the best way to actually get your CV out and get it through an ATS, but tailor it to each job, because each ATS for different companies is going to be about that role, and they'll be looking for keywords. If those keywords are missing, they'll discard your resume. That is what always happens. And that's why a lot of us get, unfortunately. So over the last maybe few months, I've been able to learn so many of these things. And I think I was glad that, when they reached out to me that, we'd like to have this conversation, like, this is my opportunity to actually share some of these ideas with you guys. So, and those are just everything that I think I want you guys to know about this. You guys will get this, you guys will get this entire slide link. It's a Figma slide. I use Figma slides to actually design this. So I will share this with you guys, and also I'll share the CV template as well. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So I hope if you guys have any questions, maybe this might be the time to ask questions now.
Please, guys, if you have any question, this is your chance to ask now. Wow, good to me. Wow. So amazing. Wow. Come on, guys, ask your questions now. Okay, quiet, Cynthia. Ask your questions, Cynthia.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, so you were talking about no code tools that newbies we can use for building our portfolios.
Yes. So check out Framer. Framer is very good. I personally use Squarespace, right? But Squarespace is kind of expensive. Every month I get to pay $25. It's a lot of money. So, but Squarespace is fine as well. But Framer is free. You can use Framer for free.
It's not limited to like 2 pages or like Webflows.
No. It's actually not limited. It's actually not that limited. Yeah, you can have a lot of pages within it. The only thing is just that you're not going to have a custom URL. Right? So your URL is going to be like your name.framer.com. You understand that kind of thing, right? That's what it's going to be. So, but not specifically, I've actually seen portfolio websites that were designed with Figma. It's just the prototype link that the guy shares everywhere. You understand? It's just linked, and then everything just, works fine. So you could use that as well. But the problem with that Figma version is if somebody is viewing it on a phone, it will not look as clear. You understand? So that's where the wala can actually be. But now Figma does responsiveness with, should I say prototyping? So why not? If you actually learn to that level of Figma, proficiency, then you might be able to do some of those things as well. Having the same link, but be able to view mobile and web. So that's fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, I think we have 2 more hands. I think we have Kola and Mr. Metil. So who is going first? Okay, Kola Wole, go first before Metil. Kola Wole.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
You mentioned something about the STAR approach.
Yes, STAR. Yes.
Yes, please. I don't know if you can reiterate and please explain.
Okay. So let me explain it this way, right? So the STAR approach is the way you answer a question. So think about it. If I ask you about, tell me about a time, right, where you encountered a problem, right, in the workplace, and how did you solve that problem? STAR approach will now be me explaining from a perspective of, okay, how did I solve that problem, right? Because it's a very, very important question to answer, right? So the situation can be, at so company, I was tasked with redesigning let me just talk from an insurance perspective. There was an insurance app I worked on recently, right? I just say, okay, like at Allstate, I was tasked with redesigning the claims section of our customer-facing mobile app. The existing process was outdated and caused confusion, you understand, among users, leading to high call volumes and user frustration. That is the situation. I captured it clearly. You understand? I captured that situation, what the problem was at that time. Then let me now talk about the task. But see, don't be telling them, oh, situation, task, don't do that. Omit it. Just answer it. Just explain the situation. Then in your head, think about task. Then say task next, right? So let me just say the task now. So now my goal, right, was to streamline the claims filing process to make it more intuitive, reduce user errors, and lower the number of support calls, meaning customer support to be getting less calls, right? That is my task to achieve that aim. What was the action? I began by conducting user interviews and analyzing customer feedback to identify pain points. You guys remember, pain point is a buzzword. People like technical people or technical recruiters love hearing that. We discovered that users struggled with understanding the steps involved in filing claims and were frustrated by the lack of real-time updates. I cannot dabble a little bit and just talk about people I work with. I collaborated with product managers, engineers, and UX researchers to map out the entire user journey and identify areas for improvement. Understand? Then the next thing we did, a step-by-step guide process to help users complete indicators and automate updates. Simple. That was the action that we performed. Right? Everything we did, I mentioned, and the people I worked with. The results, the redesigned, so I would just say the redesigned app, right? Maybe resulted in a 30% reduction in call center inquiries. We achieved the aim, basically. So I told them the problem, and then I told them about what I wanted, what my own aim was, how we achieved that aim, and then if we achieved the aim or not. And that's pretty much the STAR method. So any question they ask you, just use the STAR method to explain it. But again, if you now ask you, what's your name? STAR method not apply for that one. You get right. So it doesn't really apply in some situation. But when it comes to technical stuff, just approach it from different perspectives. Right? Just use STAR method to always just answer your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So next person can ask questions now.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question with regards to the interviews section that you talked about. Right. So I have two questions for that particular section. One has to do with when you are being asked like the amount like for your services, yes. Right? So you made a statement that like I didn't really get that part. I think I was having issues with my network then. So could you come like see that again? And also you talked about not trying not to talk too much during the interview. Now there's a question: how do you create balance between trying to showcase that, oh guys, I know what I'm talking about, and not still talking to me? Like when you know what when you have like stuff in your head, you feel like pouring all out.
Exactly.
So how do you not create that balancing of not talking too much and also not try to talk less?
Yeah. That's okay. So the way it works is this, right? For me, so let me just start from the first question first. So now, when I was talking about talking about salaries and all that, one of the things you have to do is not mention a number. Not to mention a number. Right? A lot of jobs probably they will have it there. Oh, 400K to 500K. That's the range. Now, in that situation now, I'll just say something like, oh, I saw the salary range and it was very okay with me, right? But anywhere within that range is definitely fine. Now, I'm talking like I'm answering the question, right? And then I'll say something like, I know you guys don't know me well yet, and you guys are still trying to assess my skills and my abilities. But I'm very happy to work with you guys within that range of the salary expectations for this role. I'm pretty sure by the time I prove myself, you would make a decision to maybe bump my salary up however you see fit. That already shows that you have faith in them. That already shows that you are willing to work within that range that they've already given you. And also that gives them the opportunity to rethink and think, okay, maybe we should not give this guy the low ballpark. Maybe we should probably be in the middle, right? But if you just go 450 to 500 and say, oh, I want 500, you'll be like, you've never proven yourself that you deserve 500 yet, right? So why are you asking for 500? So, and a lot of different people they are talking to, a lot of things might be going on in their personal lives. So you don't want them to see it like you are being pushy. You don't want to feel like you're being pushy, right? So with that in mind, you probably want to, you definitely want to be strategic when answering that particular question, right? So let them know that they don't know you that well yet, and they're allowed to work within that ballpark. Now, if there's no salary range in there, tell them that you are going to work within the budget for that role, that you know they have a budget for the role, and can they please tell you the budget? If they now tell you the budget, because they have to tell you the answer. You understand? When they tell you the number, and then if it sounds right to you, tell them, yeah, that range sounds very fine. If the range doesn't sound fine, tell them it wouldn't work for you, right? Nigeria has changed, you understand? Fuel don't cost. You understand? So many things, right? Explain and say that wouldn't be. See, it's not a problem. It's not bad to turn down a job, right? Myself, I remember when I started, I never thought I would be turning down jobs one day as well. I thought any job that came, I'll take it. But at one point, you discover that it's very okay to turn down jobs, right? Sometimes you even discover that the company's method or the company's the way they are conversing with you, you have problems down the line. It's better to just let that problem go and just, focus on the job that will definitely, give you good mental health. You understand? Not one that's your HR is just shouting at you every day. You understand? Like I've worked in places like that, and bro, like it's horrible. You understand? So as much as they are interviewing you for your skills, they're also interviewing them. Understand? So if they are going to work with you, let them tell you. But if they keep dodging that salary, range question, they just know probably it's not going to work out. Right? The people that stress you the most pay you the least. Trust me, that's 100%. And I'm telling you that. Now, the second question. So can you remember? Can you remind me the second question?
Yeah, so for the second question, right, you talked about not having to talk, not
Oh,
trying to talk.
yes, finding a balance when talking. Yes, find a balance. Now, for me, every question I answer, right? On your laptop, you have a what's it called? You have a clock there, right? Any question that is asked of me, maximum talk time, I give myself 3 minutes to talk. 3 good minutes. But if it's a very technical thing that requires an extensive answer, I'll spend 5 minutes giving the answer, right? And also, one of the things as well is we have a tendency to beat around, especially when you know a lot of things, you have a tendency to beat around the bush a lot. Oh, I remember, we did this research and then we found this thing out. Because you actually did it, it's very, very interesting to you. But be looking at the other person's face. If they're looking bored, that's a signal that, brother, maybe you should relax a little bit. You understand what I mean, right? So give yourself, anytime they ask you any question, give yourself 3 good minutes to talk. And then also practice a lot on how to answer questions. Look at, go on YouTube. There are some YouTubers, right? UX designers. They show how to answer interview questions, right? Especially UX interview questions. Quick, quick, quick. Star method is very quick. You can answer the entire star method, right, in under 3 minutes. You understand? Under 3 minutes, you can. Even try using ChatGPT. Ask GPT, to provide you some maybe 20 UX designer interview questions, and then tell GPT to answer it using star method. You will see. If you read it, you see that you can answer them under 2 minutes each, and you capture everything once. Understand? So you just have to find that right balance, but give yourself 3 minutes max to answer any question. But when it's a very, very technical question that requires, further, information, then make it 5 minutes max. But study the other person, because you'll be sharing your video, they'll be sharing their video. So study the other person's face, whether they are bored, right? And also, it's always nice to show charisma. Add a little bit of jokes in there, right? And then they laugh. If they laugh for you, they will remember you a little bit more. Understand? Even if they are making a decision to not maybe to send you the unfortunately email, the person that interviewed you will probably be like, and I like that guy, but no wala. You understand? At least you know what I mean. So show your own charisma, show your personality in any interview that that you're going for as well. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Okay, caller. I think I see caller's hand raised up. Caller, okay, Sophia to ask the question. So, caller, Sophia, which of you? Okay, Sophia, ask your question now.
Hello, good evening. Thank you
Yeah,
for
good evening.
the event. So my
So your
question
volume is
is,
very low. I can't hear you clearly. It's very
can
low.
you hear me?
No, it's low. Maybe you're using an app. Maybe you can just use your
So can you
device.
hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. So my question is about around communication, as in
Yeah.
when you are in interview, this thing, and maybe one of the feedback you got is the communication is not there. What can you do better on communication skills?
Well, if somebody tells you communication is not great, right? You ask them what can be better about your the same question you asked me is what exactly did they notice that made you feel like, because we are designers, our first job is to be asking questions as designers, right? So if somebody's telling you that your communication was not that great and whatever, you can ask them what do they think can be better about your communication, because it depends on the scenario. Now, the other part of communication as well is answering the question as honestly as you can, right? Some people see it whenever you are being dishonest or beating around the bush, or whenever you seem not genuine, right? It makes the other person feel like the communication is not that there, right? Also, communication means you are carrying people along, right? You're not just talking at somebody, but you're communicating. You're looking at how they are carrying this. If you are saying something and then they are nodding their heads, and then they're like, oh, yes, oh, that, this, that, you are carrying them along. But by the time you are saying something and they're just looking at you like, or maybe they're looking bored, you're not communicating effectively. By that moment, when you start seeing you can probably ask questions around, like, let's say they ask you a question and you're answering. The person is looking a little bit bored. You can just throw it in there. Are you following me? Right? Or is there some other way, or is there something I can add to this that can maybe that you need to know specifically about this project, about this process? And then, that way they'll be able to say something. You've involved them in that conversation now. And then you can now, once they now clarify what they actually want to hear, you can now just shoot and just, finish the entire thing. You understand? So communication is pretty much about finding out what the other person wants to hear, but also communicating, making sure you're carrying them along, they're following you. Not just you talking and talking and talking and then nothing is happening. You understand? Which is why I always love to just share my camera when I'm talking to anybody, so that at least you can see my reaction. Because I'm just talking to the person, will not be able to imagine if I'm smiling or frowning, or you understand. So all these little hand gestures as well is part of communication, right? Being able to explain something. So, oh, first we design, we sketch, we do this, we do that. That shows that you are explaining and illustrating something as well. So that's part of communication. But again, not every recruiter likes hand gestures. You understand? So that's another another caveat to this entire thing.
All right. Thank you. Can also maybe background noise affect communication skills?
Sorry, I can't hear you well.
I said, can also background noise also affect communication?
Oh, you see, any interview you are doing, you must not be in a place where they hear that voice, where they are pressing on or whatever. If you know you have an interview, find one office or one garage somewhere where there are no sounds around that area. At least your interview is going to be for 30 minutes, right, max, right? Go there and just lock yourself there for 30 minutes. Make sure you have lights. Make sure you have good network. You understand? Background noise will affect communication, definitely. Understand? Especially if you are applying for a remote job. Problem. Because if it's a remote job, you are probably even if you get the job, you're having a meeting almost every 2 or 3 days with the team. So if every time you have to explain your designs to us, I don't even hear you. Why do we even hire you if you're in the noisy area? You understand? So definitely background noise affects a lot.
Right.
So make sure you find a very quiet area to go take your interview.
All right, thank you.
I think somebody raised their hands now.
Yes, okay, I am okay. Okay, go ahead, ask your question. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
If we're doing it remotely, can we read to prevent things like stammering and?
Can you what?
Can we read if you're doing it remotely, they won't be looking at you too much.
Yeah.
And can we read from the computer or?
Oh yes, definitely. But you have to be very smart about it, right? You have to be very smart about it. So now what you do is, if you use Windows, right? There's this software that comes with Windows called sticky notes. Those sticky notes are very useful. I use it all the time for interviews, right? That's my own hack. And I start sticky notes. Ask GPT so many questions. Give GPT all the research you did and all the data. Give GPT everything, and tell GPT that from that information, start answering all these questions with STAR method. Just put it there. So now, if my own camera is down here, right? So if I'm talking to anybody, I want to be looking at the camera directly, right? But now, if you are looking up here like this, it's very obvious that you're looking at something else. You get what I mean, right? But your camera is here. If you can just position now, so my camera is down on my laptop. So if I'm going to position my sticky notes, and let me just share my screen so that you guys can see it. Let me share my full screen, and I will still have some of my, some of my notes here so that you guys can just see some of the things that I do. So you can see these sticky notes here, right? All these ones here. See answers, finding a compromise, this one, that one, about the company. All those things will be there. Now, this is what I would do. My camera is down here. So I would position my sticky note at the bottom here. But I will now spread it wide so that it doesn't seem too tall, right? And then it's just going to be, let me just make it short. Just going to be this size. So now it seems like I'm looking at you, but then I'm reading, in the end, the stakeholders were impressed of the compromise. You understand? They have retained the potential to drive blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, it's all good. And then they're like, this guy knows what he's saying and all that stuff. But try to add, because if you read, it seems very robotic. So add little, and we did, right, this, you understand? It really helps you to just drive that home. Like, it just kills it that way. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. All right. Any other questions? Anything else? Anything else? Just make sure you use your sticky notes smartly. And please also, when they tell you to share your screen, don't share your entire screen. Just share the window that you want to use to present. Don't share the entire screen so that your sticky notes can still be there. You understand? Then you can still look at that while you're explaining your case study. You get what I mean? So.
Okay, all right, then go to me. I think we have one more question which I think we would take because you really tried. You really.
Yeah, no wala now, no wala. I'm here for you guys. Ask the question.
Thank you, Timmy. Thank you. Okay, Godwin, go ahead. I think I can see Godwin's hand raised up.
All right.
Okay, boss. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, boss.
Mine is not really a question, actually. I just want to ask, when is the next time you're going to give us more updates like this now?
I don't know. It depends on the team.
You see, you're dishing out too much value. They can't wait to have me again. Wow.
Not like that, though. It's something. Have a fixed date, safe. Man. Just the way we have our classes, we can just fix maybe one day for us every week.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, anytime the Pexels team needs me, when they reach out, definitely I'll be able to, show up.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow. Amarachi, we have one more question, please.
Okay.
Amarachi, I think I see your hand raised up. Ask your question.
Yeah, please, Mr. Rotimi, can you serve as a mentor to us? Like, I would like it to.
No, you guys can reach out to me through LinkedIn, right? I've a lot of people reach out to me through LinkedIn for mentorship, so you guys can always reach out LinkedIn. Just find me. My name is just my name. Adubi Oluwarotimi. That's just my name.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
For sure.
Yeah, wow. Ultimate, thank you so much. Wow, you're really a teacher. Thank you.
Thank you.
You really brought out your time to break it down for us to get it. Wow, thank you. Guys, join me. Rashidat, a question?
No, it's not a question.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I can't hear you well, sorry.
You go to Rashidat.
Your network is...
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, clear now, very clear. Yeah, very clear.
Okay, I said I'm really glad to have Adubi here again. It was like my first mentor in this part as a product designer. He might not really know, but he taught me at 210, and he's the one that made me to really have interest in this. And I've looked at every other places, and I would just say that thank you. I just want to say thank you to him.
No problem.
Really, and I'll definitely get much later. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So please go to me, please. We look forward to this slide which you promised us.
Oh, no, I'm sending it via email to you now. I'll send them to you via email now. So you have everything.
Thank you. So I will pass it across to the students in their various channels. They cannot be bombarding me these nights now. This slide. So once they reached out to me, Mr. Kachi, this slide, I say relax. When they give it to me, I'll give it to you. So you guys join me as we say a very big thank you to Rotimi. Just say thank you. Thank you, OTB. Thank you. We are really glad
Thank you very
to
much
have
for having me. Thank you.
you.
I had fun. I enjoyed it.
We will definitely come back because we need more of this. Because if I'm to be honest, almost everybody on this call is either they've left Pexels recently or they're about to graduate. So this
Oh
your
wow.
topic is very, very important.
Yeah.
So we are glad to have you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. Thank you.
Yeah,
We
thank you
from
very much for asking
say
me.
thank you. We will read. Someone has already sending me the slides. Oh, the slide. Already sending me the slides on Slack.
Yeah.
So please, thank you very much. We
No
really
problem, Pastor.
we need to have you come and tell us more. Maybe we'll give you a longer duration. Maybe so you tell us more. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll be
All right.
sure
Yeah.
to pass out your handle to the guys so they can reach out to you as well via LinkedIn.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
So LinkedIn is just my name, right? Just find me on LinkedIn and it's all good. Yeah.
Thank you, good to me. Thank you.
All
We
right,
look forward
Pastor.
to having you another time again. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
have a nice day.
You too.
Bye,
Happy New
everyone.
Month. Good to me. Happy New Month.
Yeah, happy new month. Happy new month, guys. Happy new month.
All right, I'll take care. Good to me.
All right, bye, everyone. Yeah.
Bye. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. Thank you. Thank you for coming. As soon as you send me those slides, I'll be sure to send them to you either on your Slack channel or if you can reach out to me via WhatsApp, the slides will be sent to you. But I think most importantly, it will be coming to you guys on your individual Slack channels. Or if you're a student of Pexels, you can search for us on IG Pexels and then ask for the slide to yesterday's session again. And also, this meeting is recorded, so you can always go to YouTube, search for Pexels. You will see previous DDS meetings recorded here. Even this one will be uploaded by tomorrow, so you can always revisit this one to check more. So once again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, really appreciate you. And I hope that you've learned a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Month once again, guys, and do have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Please, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, go ahead.
After we graduate, can we still join in on the DDS?
Anybody can join DDS anytime is a program. It happens every two weeks. Like the next DDS is going to be on the 15th. That one is talking about micro interaction, prototyping. Then on the 29th, we have somebody else again from the US that will coming to talk to us about how to go about your first interview. Ultimate thoughts about positioning yourself to get jobs. On September 29th, the next speaker will be teaching you how you comport and arrange yourself on your first interview as a designer. So this month is really loaded. It's really, really loaded, trust me. So the next one will be on the 15th of September. The other one will be on the 29th of September. So just keep following pages on Instagram for more updates. For those in pages already, surely you'll be getting more answers on your Slack channels, more postings there. So it's not a problem. You can always join. It's not a problem. You can always join.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So hope I've answered your question now.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right, no problem. Then I will send the slide to your group. Somebody is asking me how would I get the slide. No, I will send the slide to your group, guys. Don't worry, rest assured. The slides will be sent to your various Slack channels. And also, if you can reach out to me via WhatsApp, I'll give it to you via WhatsApp. And like I also said, if you're the student of Pexels, go to Instagram, search for Pexels, request for the slides, or better still, go to YouTube, search for Pexels. You will see the video to be ready by tomorrow, about. So no worry, you are covered, guys. You are covered. Thank you once again for attending this DDS. It won't be possible without you. So thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And see you in next DDS.